things we've been working on here at APP is the idea of the metrics in your management system. And we're doing data visualization software with a lot of our 2-year program clients. What we've been finding, though, is data provides a large amount of frustration for clients. And you can sense the frustration even as we're looking at the reports and dealing with them. And so I get it. I understand. That's why I wanted to break down these 4 videos. This is Kelly Donahue-Piro from Agency Performance Partners. And we've got 4 videos on why data is frustrating. And I'm just going to start off this first video by saying, I firmly believe that in many instances, the reports in insurance are too tedious, too difficult, and too hard. And I don't think that it's your fault. But I do think that there are a lot of steps that we can take to make it better. And as many of you know, I live in a zero excuse environment. So the fact that it's hard doesn't mean that we should stop, right? So many agencies, they run a report in their management system. Let's just say lost policies. No, like, it's wrong. I didn't lose that much business. I'm like, simmer down, okay? There are 4 reasons a report in insurance are wrong. And by the way, most of the time it's 3 out of 4, if not 4 out of 4, that's causing frustration. So because we see it's wrong, we back away because it's complicated and it's tedious. And I want to tell you, the first step we need to take is understanding the report. What is this report saying? You might be thinking it's telling me all my lost policies for the week. Well, if we're going off the expiration date and you're on a system that doesn't change the expiration date for a midterm cancellation, yes, that report could be wrong. But if the report's actually right, our expectations of the report are wrong and our workflow is wrong. And so you have to understand what you're looking at. There are some carriers that download duplicate, cancellations because they have renewal offers out. So they have to cancel the old policy and the new policy. There's all these things. You have to peel through the data. And I know that that's tedious. You also have to understand what the report is showing you. So for example, if you have not renewed policies in the system and there's a bunch of new business to be entered in, your book of business is going to be off. You have to understand exactly what are the logistics of the report. Now, again, this is one of those things where I'd love an easy button, but we're dealing with a lot of complicated information. We're dealing with downloads. We're dealing with human entry. We're dealing with report filters. And the downloads aren't perfect either. And that's going to be the topic of one of our videos. But when you stop and you look at the reports in just a daily or even a weekly snapshot, it becomes so much less overwhelming than seeing 100 records on a report and being like, WTF. So we have to start everything by saying, what is this report showing me? What is it trying to teach me? And not getting frustrated. I mean, so many agents, as we're showing them the data, get on the calls with us very frustrated. Like, what's going on? That can't be right. I'm like, okay, simmer down. Let's look at the data. Let's look at each record and figure out what's going on. Is the date range right? Because sometimes we're pulling cancellation data, week after week. Well, sometimes clients show up on there 2 or 3 times because of the way the download works. So we have to say, okay, let's back up. How are we going to fix this? To me, all the data in your system starts for 6 months as we're showing clients data as clues. It's not something that you're going to make a decision on, but it is something for 6 months you have to have clues on so you build confidence in the data. And our expectations are we hit that report, it's right every single time, and that's the end of it. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that those expectations are irrational based on today's technology. Now, they're rational outside of insurance, but today's systems inside of insurance still fail us on many, many efforts on this. However, we can fix it. So if you're looking at reports, I want you to look at them for 6 months, put the date on the calendar as clues. I'm at an agency right now that when we pull their book of business, there's this 1-week spike where their policies go up by a couple hundred and then shoot back down again. And it's jacking up people's bonus numbers. And so people are pissed, as they should be. But we have to figure out, why was that 1 week having a huge spike in policies? What happened that week? And now we have a clue to go looking for it and figure it out, because if it happened once, it can happen again. So I want everybody to just take a big deep breath on your data. I know it's frustrating and I know it's icky and I know it's horrible. But if you think about it for 6 months as clues, an investigation with a tour guide, which is hopefully us, we can get there and get it right. So that's our first step, understanding what is this report trying to show me? Not is it right or wrong? Let me understand what the report is. Do we need to change the report filters? Do we need to do something differently? And then just start looking at it from the perspective of clues. Hey, everybody. So want to just let you know we have our Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast. And if you have not already gone and subscribed to it, you're missing out, because it's one of the only insurance podcasts out there that has no sponsors, 0 sponsors. And the reason that we do that is we believe that we want to be the podcast for agencies with the people problems, the growing agencies. If you've got 10 people out there, you know what I'm talking about. It gets harder with different personalities. And so we want to bring to you the best vendors. We want to bring to you also the best agency stories out there of facing and doing the hard things for the agencies that are growing. And so if you're interested in a new insurance podcast that isn't too crazy, let us know. We actually do these 3-minute videos as podcasts. You might be listening to it right now. So go ahead, subscribe to the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast. You can go to our website under the podcast section. It's on the top left-hand corner. There's a drop down, click podcast and subscribe. Go to Apple or iTunes and you can also subscribe there. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.